Oh, hi. Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's live mapping session from Profanity Software. I'm Ralph Schermann, and tonight I have the pleasure to show you the latest annual issue. The December annual issue was released on Monday, or on Tuesday actually, sorry about that. And it's not quite the last one for the year because we usually do a bonus session for our subscription. And we've got one coming up, already lined up for later this month. If you don't know about it, the Cartographer's Annual is our yearly subscription, where we're doing something new each month. And you get a new mapping style, a new symbol pack, a big tutorial, something like that for your own users. And they always come with a mapping guide that shows you how to use the assets that we publish that month. There will be a resubscription for all current subscribers for next year very soon, and then you can subscribe to next year, to 2021, at a reduced price. But everybody can, of course, always jump in at a later time. For example, you could jump in now to the 2020 annual and you'd get immediate access to everything we have published so far. As usual, if you have any questions on what I'm doing here, want to see something special done or something demonstrated, post your questions in the YouTube chat. Sue is there to check, collect them and forward them to me so I can show what is possible. We'll be doing occasional breaks during the mapping to do that. But let's get going with the mapping, shall we? I do have the example map from the annual style on screen here, and you can see it's an isometric mapping style, meaning a fixed 3D view that shows you the interior of buildings in this case, and it's got pre-drawn symbols that you can plug together and build your map from that. It's also usable as a perspective style, and that's what I'm going to be showing. So for some of the commands I'm doing, you will need the Perspectives 3 add-on. Sorry. The style does have some have the tool set up to draw walls and everything without perspectives present, but it will be a little bit more difficult and you'll not be able to do 3D walls quite as easily. So I'm going to stick with perspectives in this session. To start off, let's go up to our file toolbar up here, where we've got the file operations commands and all the symbols for the various add-ons. So you can see there's the perspectives add-on here also, but we're going to start out by just clicking the new map button. And from the map type, we're going to choose the perspectives map type. Click next, and you can see here these are the two templates for the Tagkrammer Isometric map style. The rather idiosyncratic name is from the example map that we based the style on, done by a mapper over on the Cartographer's Guild. Worked with us to provide his mapping assets where we built the style from, and he named the map he drew was the Tagrammer Kontor, and that's where the style's name comes from. So we're going to choose the non-metric one, click next, and set the size of the map. I'm going to do a fairly small one because doing perspectives maps, isometric maps, always takes quite a long time relative to other mapping styles, and so we don't want a huge area to fill. And this is large enough for a nice building floor plan. Anyway, so I'm going to click finish at this point. I'm not going to set up any multiple levels. We're going to do this on the map itself. And so we can just click finish. And we are going to save the map in our live stream folder and call it the sample building. And here's our blank map to start with. As you might notice, different from other drawing styles, this does not load the perspectives add-on automatically. That's because I didn't want people to feel that it's absolutely necessary to have perspectives. And if I did all the usual preset stuff for perspectives map, there would have been some errors popping up. So I'll left that to do manually as described in the mapping guide for people who have perspectives. Other ones can switch to Dungeon Design from here, or similar styles to access their drawing tools. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on the perspectives icon first to switch to the perspectives button layout. You can see catalog button is changed to similar to the dungeon catalog button, but slightly different and doing different things, and the perspectives toolbar on the left. A perspective style is does set certain styles for the walls and floors you set in the map, or you draw on the map, and therefore we need to do this in this style too, because this is not automatically done. And here's our list of different settings for perspectives. Most of the stuff is perspectives 3, but if you scroll up, you do have two that start with CA 168. It's the number of our annual issue. And you can see how long we've been doing that. This is the 168th annual issue, not counting bonus issues. And we do have two different ones here for stone walls, either with a stone floor or wood floor. And as a building, we're going to start out with a nice wooden floor and use this as our first floor for the building. Just select the setting here and click OK again. And now if you draw a floor or wall, perspectives will use the relevant setting that we did just set. So we could, what we can do, we can draw whole rooms here in one go in perspectives. I can show you that for a moment, where we do floor and walls in one go. And if you right click the button, you do get some different options, among others the room options. And the room options shows you what we do with the facing walls. We want to cut away most of the facing walls, because otherwise they will obscure in an isometric view the most of the interior of the building. And therefore perspectives offers several options on how to do that. Draw them lower, draw them as wireframes, or draw no facing walls at all. You have aggressive and non-aggressive wall removal is how many of the front walls perspectives will remove. Let's say we do aggressive and click OK. And now we're going to draw the room. You pick two corners, and this is a rectangular room, so you then just define the width of the room. And afterwards you set the size of the height of your walls. Let's go with 10 feet. The 6 that's showing on the cursor is the default option here from my previous drawing, but that's a bit too low for my taste. You can type in 10, or you can use just the snap buttons to define that. Let's type in 10. And here's our room. And you can see perspectives has deleted or not drawn the front walls, opening up the view into the room. And you could go and start working on this here. But one of the things is perspectives does these corners of the walls, and I do want to have some gaps in the walls, and for that it is usually easier to draw the floors first and then the walls manually. It takes a bit longer, but it gives you a little more control. So I want to show you that as well. For that, I'm just going to remove this room again, and I'm going to start out by just putting down the floors. Go and choose the rectangular floor here. I can also right click on the button and draw a polygonal floor. And that's what I want to do. I want to draw a L-shaped building floor plan. I'm going to click one corner, another one here, and draw my house shape this way. And there's my basic floor. And I already noticed it's a bit difficult to have an isometric drawing and do the 90-degree corners if you're just placing down corners freely. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to remove this and use the rectangular floor to make this a bit easier, because with a rectangle drawing tool I know I do have 90-degree corners automatically. And what I can do, I can just draw a second rectangle here along the first one and do my L-shaped room this way. There we go. This looks better. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw in my walls for the building. Similar, I'm going to create a similar look to the previous one, but with putting down my walls individually. Start with this one here, and what I'm going to do, I could start on the corner up here, but then we won't have a very clear corner when we put our next wall in the other direction. So I'm going to start out on the straight section of the wall and let perspectives handle the corner. This will look nicer. So I'm going to put the wall down here. Actually, what I want to do is I want to use the on modifier to place it on my wall. Draw the wall down all the way down to here, and a bit of a corner here. And again, now I can set the size of my wall, and I'm gonna right click to accept the default size this time because it's 10 now. It's remember the setting from last time I set it, and I can just right click and to accept that height. See, and here's my wall. And one thing I've already done, which I wanted to remember, is you see the wall is behind the floor here, and that's because I didn't set my sheet first. I was working on the floors sheet, and then I drew the wall, and can make it of a nose. The wall needs to go on the wall sheet, and it picks the first one from the list. And because I've set up the template with lower wall sheets, if I want to put walls behind others, it placed my wall on this one. But to be in front of the floor, the wall needs to go on this sheet. So what we're going to do is just going to right click the Sheets and Effects button, use the Move to Sheet command, click on our wall, press Do It, and select the wall sheet. And there we go. The wall is properly in front of the floor. So, say we now want to put in a couple doors in our wall. Just leave gaps in the walls and put doors in there. And for that I'm gonna load the wall features catalog. Oh, okay, we are not in the correct setting here. I might be left over from my previous work. I haven't got the quite correct template set up here. So let's load up the master filter setting. This, yeah, I'm in standard perspectives settings, and I need to go to my current annual setting. That's the CM68 load. If I now click this button, yeah, that's the correct set of symbols. So I want to draw a door or put in doors here. And for that I'm gonna pick one of the, let's put a big double door here in front. And another smaller one at the back. Here we go. And what I'm going to show you now is one of the basic ideas of an isometric map where you need to layer all the stuff correctly. So let's say if I wanted to continue my wall now, here, continue and go to my wall tool again, click on the floor and draw my wall. But if I redraw now, you're gonna see that my door is in front of the wall, and it should, we're in a quandary now, because if you look in, the wall needs to be in front of the wall here up in the corner, but below in the drawing order this wall here on the right. So we do need different sheets, and for that we do have different wall sheets set up. So I'm gonna undo this and here set my sheet to walls number 2 and redraw the wall. And this time yes, thanks so. I'm gonna make sure that the wall is correctly on the floor edge this time by using the on modifier. There we go. 10 foot. And there you can see this wall is correctly in front of the door now. And you'll need to do this again if you're doing another door in there, some symbol in between the walls, and therefore if you're doing larger walls you will need more of these sheets. And we do have quite a few set up already, 4 different floor wall symbols groups basically on this template, but you can always add more by just adding a number to the set. And if you need more of those, you can just create a new one with the appropriate name, copy sheet effects over if there are any, and continue with placing new groups of walls and symbols and stuff in front of the next one. But for now we are good with this one here, and we can now go on and do stuff like add a couple symbols. These just, see, they have a predefined height from the floor. So if I just use the on modifier on the wall edge here, it will always place the symbol in the same direction. I can also do some more elaborate ones. You see these symbols are set up in certain directions already to go on the map to match straight walls. And you can, with the tab key, you can switch between the different directions available for us. For example, here for the window we have 2 different directions. Or if we go for something else, for a furniture symbol, and say choose the bed here, with a tab key you can cycle through the 4 different directions this bed can be aligned in. Go back to the here, and I want to add a couple symbols here to the wall. Oh, this is the last one. See, my wall is probably not quite in the 90-degree direction, and we are limited with these window symbols to the cardinal directions, because we can't freely rotate them, so they won't align correctly to a wall at an odd angle, but they're good enough for me here at the moment, so I'm just going to place them on the wall. So again, let's have a look. If I wanted to, what already has happened, you might have noticed I missed it. The windows up here on this wall are gone. And that's because they are actually on the symbol sheet, which is below the walls 2 sheet. Because we are here on that wall, we're basically working in the next section, on the 2 section of floor, walls and symbols. We need to move those windows over to the appropriate sheet. They need to go on symbols too. So one thing to take away from this when working on isometric maps, always be very aware of the sheet you're working on. The drawing order is very important, and you need to keep that in mind so things show up directly. And if stuff like that happens, and you lost a symbol because perhaps it's behind a few other things, what you can always do, you can just hide all the different sheet or the other sheets or sheets you suspect are at fault, and to look behind them to find the symbols that have gone missing. So what I also want to do is I want to add a wall in here separating 2 rooms. And for that, again, I'm not going to do a full height wall because that would obscure too much of the room behind it. And here I know we are working on the this wall is walls 2, so I can continue working on the same wall sheet. Grab the walls tool, use the on modifier to place it on the floor edge here. And if I want to put in a door space again, so let's make this just 1 foot in height, then I'm going to grab a door, actually this one here. We might take one that's a bit standing open here at this point. And then again we need, again this one needs to go on the symbols 2 sheet, because we need a wall that's in front of this door yet, or perhaps we can not do that because the door is slightly open and doesn't overlap the wall. So let's have a try. Let's go to walls 2, choose the next section of wall, and do 1 foot wall here showing this corner of the building. Looks okay. So next step, we can now put in a low wall around this edge of the room. And just to be sure, because I'm going to be placing symbols inside the room there, and they need to go, the wall needs to be in front of that, I'm going to switch to the next walls sheet at this point. Go, and 1 foot. There we are. And here you can see what I was talking about earlier, that my corner is not quite 100% good looking here at this point. So I could go in and redo that wall. Should we do that? Yes, let's make it nice. Let's undo this wall section, and if I want to put in a corner in here, I'm just gonna be sure that I'm working on the same wall sheet as this one, so I know I'm on walls 2. Erase this one, take the wall tool and just do a little bit of a corner here, and then let's go back to the 10-foot height wall. See, because we're working on the correct sheet, Perspective has placed the wall here on the correct bit. We just need to move this in front. And now we're gonna go for the lower wall sections again. And gonna switch to walls 3. Here we go. And one modifier at the corner. And one modifier here. And 1 foot height. And there's my front wall. And you can see the wall, the corner of the wall here looks much better now. Okay, so I've got my nice little basic layout with some doors and buildings for the house, and we can now put in some symbols. So let's go back to the basic symbols sheet here and load up the furniture catalog. And here we can put in a little table. Use the tab key to move it around. Let's place some chairs around it. Oh, it's a bit too low, this table. Let's take the higher one here. Chair, 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 chair. And you can also already see, if you have not placed it from back to front, they don't overlap correctly. But for a group of symbols like this, that's not in front of walls and other stuff, we can always use the symbols, sort symbols and map command. Always very handy. Choose that, select the symbols in here, press D for do it, and there your isometric symbols are sorted. So we do have some other nice stuff, like putting it in the fireplace here. Let's put it between the two windows. Here I'm going to turn off snap to match this nicely to the corner. And again, I should have done that. No, I need to sort this again because I'm not working really from the back to the front of the room. See, don't quite like the overlap here, so I'm going to move this a bit. Not the wall. Do it. And I forgot to grab that chair. There we go. We can also put some paintings on the walls. And here again, we'll see if I place this painting here and a refresh. Oops, it's on the sheet behind the other one. So just to show you, I'm gonna hide the walls to sheet and use move to sheet to move the two symbols tool. So that's going to be in front of the proper wall again. So if I want to continue with this room here, I know I need to go to the symbols tool sheet and see, I've got some carpets here. I'll show you, because I should have placed this low wall on the proper sheet. If I do refresh, yes, that's in front of the symbols on here, so that looks right. Let's put in a desk and an armchair in front of that, and a bed down here. And a wardrobe perhaps down here. Oh, it takes a little bit too much space. Let's put a small table here. There we go. So another thing that we can do, if I go to the up and down section, I've got some support poles that I can place, wooden beams holding up the roof or the floor above. And Then if I want to do stuff like if I go to the... No, that's not the elemental. I was looking for the wall features. There they are. I'm looking for the lanterns. So if I want to basically hang a lantern from the wooden poles here, it's better to put them on the next sheet. Symbols 3 here. So they are always top of the poles, even if I sort them at a later time. Okay, so now I was talking, I wanted to add some different levels to the map. I can load up the upper door, and I could put it in the stairs going upstairs and then put in an upper floor, but I already did that for the mapping guide, in the PDF mapping guide that comes with the annual, so I want to put in a cellar floor. What I'm going to do is we'll put some stairs down, and I can put these down here in the corner. So for this obviously needs to be on top of pretty much to the back again, behind the other symbols. So let's go back to the symbols sheet, this one, and that's correctly behind the pillar, the pole. Yes, one more thing I wanted to show you. The walls look a bit bare on this one. That's because we haven't used any bitmap textures for the walls in this style. But what you can do if you load up the wall features catalog, you've got these nice texture symbols, and you can use these to just place them on the walls to give them a nice texture. Doesn't take much, just put down a few. This we need to go up on the next sheet again. They make the walls come to life quite a lot. Another thing what I like to do is to give the outside walls a little bit of life is to go to our caves catalog, and just on the corners here alongside the wall put some stones. Again, better to put that on the later symbol sheet because this is on walls 3. There we go, and then load the vegetation catalog. It doesn't load up the thing I wanted. So let's have a look. Go to advanced. The button loads an outdoor catalog. It should be looking for vegetation. That's a little error in the catalog files that I need to correct. That will be updated in the annual download, because I wasn't aware the perspectives catalog toolbar was looking for outdoor settings instead of vegetation settings. There we go. It's quickly fixed. And to show you what to actually do to fix this. If you want to fix it yourself, it's a good opportunity to do that. Go to advanced, look for all the settings for the style. See, we've got this vegetation one here, and do a new one with the same settings, basically just a straight copy, and call it outdoor. Save the settings once. Okay, and now if we click this button, it will load up the correct symbol catalog. No other changes necessary. You just need to create a new setting with the outdoor name. So the filter does find it. So let's put down a few plants around the house. And that looks nice. Okay, next we do need the cellar this stair is leading into. To do that, we are gonna go to different setting first, because we want our cellar to have a stone floor. And then we, same as for our building up here, we are putting down a cellar level. And what do I actually gonna do if I want to make a copy of the layout as for our building above that? What we're gonna do, we this time gonna do a polygonal floor again, and I'm just gonna use the endpoint modifier to match the floor layout to the one we have here. Because our floor is on the lowest sheet below all the other stuff, our endpoint modifier should mostly, if I don't miss it like I did here, hit the floor corners automatically. Go. What we can do now, we can add a node here. No, we cannot, because it's a lined fill polygon. So we're just going to redo this polygon and floor. Make sure that looks better. And what we're going to do then is we're going to just use the move command, select by prior, the stuff we just drew, do it, and move our floor up here. So we of course do need the stair that leads down here. For that we are gonna go to the up and down catalog again, make sure we are on the lower symbols sheet. Because the two floors will not overlap, we can reuse the same sets of sheets for the cellar as we used for the main floor of the building. So we don't need to set up yet another set of symbols. Snap. This looks good. Now we see our wall extends a bit above the map border, but we can change that later. And similar as previously, we're gonna draw a stone wall. And this time I'm gonna do the corners all in one go, because I don't need any wall breaks in these walls. I'm just gonna click, use the endpoint modifier to attach this to the corners. Here a little corner. And let's make this 10 feet again. And you can see I've got something not quite on the right floor. I think I've got the floor on the wrong sheet, probably because I was working in a higher set there. Yeah, it's on floor 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the floor sheet down to this one. There we go. Yeah, and as you can see, we are now a little bit extending beyond our map border. We can move stuff around a bit to make room, or we could enlarge our mapping area. Let's first see whether we can fit everything down here into our area. Not quite, we are still overlapping a bit. But yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to enlarge our mapping area a little. What we're going to do resize drawing area. And I was at 100 by 80, so let's make this 100 by 100. Just a little bit higher. Go. And let's move this up a bit. And as you can see, I think my wall is a bit too low. It's probably because I hadn't set it specifically on the wall 0 sheet, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to move the wall. No, let's move the list. Command again, move to sheet. This wall up to this sheet. That's better. So what we're going to do next is add a little bit of texture to our wall. Correct. Sizing, turn off snap, so we can place these symbols more freely. And some smaller ones. Oh, that's the wrong direction. That's better. So there we've got a nice cellar wall. You might notice that my stairs is not quite perfectly placed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just move it. It's better. We can also put a pole down here, show a bit of support. Send that to the back. Looks good. And from there we can continue working on here. There might perhaps be a trapdoor to even lower cellars or some sewer tunnels. And then we do have some... Oh, someone might have died here a while ago, but we can also put in a nice little wine cellar. Some crates. Stack them. Treasure chest, whatever is hidden down here. And yeah, something else I want, if you now have stuff that you can actually, that you want to see through walls, but you don't want to leave a whole gap or something. So say we've got something, a hidden room behind this here somewhere, and we've got the, let's put this on the lower set of floor of sheets and have a room here below or behind this. But you would, so it might be have been walled off at some point, and you do have some stuff lying down there, some coins, and perhaps here we do have the skeleton leading lying on the floor there. And you can see, you can't really see through this here, but you do want to have a look through this wall here at some point. We do have a tool for that, making use of the color key sheet effects. So if we're gonna load up the drawing tools and go to the wall hole command, and then just draw a hole shape in here. To refresh, you can see that the tool cuts a view into the hole, into the wall, and you can look through that. So let's move the stuff behind this a little bit. So we can nicely see through the wall. And there you can actually have a little peek through the wall here, that point. And you can always, if you put that on your own little layer, GM layer, change properties and put this on a secret layer. You can just go in and hide the layer, and for that view this will not be visible. In this case, the floor behind it will obviously still give you away, but you can see what I mean, what I was intending to do. Okay, what else do we need on the map? Let's see what we have. We have some, so perhaps we want to continue our corridor here, or our underground area a little bit. Say we do have a corridor that's running off from this point. We can go in and continue drawing floors. Put this in here. Actually, yeah, if you want to make it aligned in 90-degree angles or parallel to existing rooms, it's always good to use the on modifier to draw the side along the room side first, and then you know your corridor here is going off in the correct direction. Do the same here. Oops. Come on. No, what I'm something I'm in the wrong way of doing things at the moment. Okay, now I'm good again. I was stuck in a wrong set of commands there. What I was doing. So I'm going to go to the rectangular floor again. Now use the endpoint modifier. Attach it to the existing corridor, and there's my corridor going off. And now I can go in and draw my walls again. Endpoint modifier to attach this to the edges of the floors, and a 10-foot wall again. And yeah, I was on the wrong wall sheet again. So let's have a look. Info list. This is probably on the lower, the wall 0, right. And this needs to go on the walls. Move the sheet. Select the wall. Press D for do it. And go on the normal wall sheet. Yes, I was still working on the 0 layer from the little secret room I did. That's why my wall went on that sheet. Might have probably, if I take a look on the floors, these will probably also be on floor 0. Indeed, they are. But this doesn't matter here at this point because it's the lowest area for my floor anyway. Okay, here we do have now a slight overlap with this texture here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move this up a notch. And what you can also always do is hold down Control and click a selected entity to deselect it. Something I should be getting used to. I'm not always doing the most efficient command interactions, as Remy told me recently, so I'm should get used to that and not use the combine not option, but simply hold down Shift Control and deselect entities that way. So do it and move the texture down here. Textures, we also have this nice, it's also nice to use this stone texture that goes across a wall corner. If you place this just on the edge here, you can also use the on modifier for that. It gives a nice idea of the stones showing at the edge of the wall corner. Okay, Quentin asks how to place lintels above a door. You can basically do that with the walls tools in here. So say you want to put a lintel above this door here. You could go, we'll have a look first which symbol sheet this door is on. It's on the normal symbols. Because the section of wall we need to cover this symbol, we need to go on the next wall sheet above. And then we're gonna grab a wall. Place it here right above the door. And this way you can basically build walls around your doors and show that there's wall above them. I tend not to do that because it just obscures too much stuff, and it's easier to just leave that out, and you're still aware how the door looks anyway. Sue asks if there's a sheet effect that gives the floors a dark outline. Let's have a quick look. Floors, no, we don't have a sheet effect on the floors. You can of course do that. You could go in and say if we wanted to sheet effect on the floors, put in a glow, dark glow, not too strong, perhaps a foot width. And there you can see there's the sheet effect. Oh, I used an outside glow. I should do an inside glow. Glow, edit, inside. And there we've got slight setup of the floors. And the corner here shows because the floor is on the different sheet. So if we want to get rid of the glow here at this point, what we need to do is we need to move this to its correct floor sheet. There you see the glow is gone. All right. We have another question. Trevor wants to know how to put a grid down on all of that. Yes, let's put a grid down. That's easy enough because we have an isometric grid option. Choose the color first. So let's do bright grid, or perhaps we might actually do, because our floor is fairly bright, let's do a darker one. Don't want to have it too obvious. So let's use this color, draw hex or square overlay, and choose an isometric grid, 5-foot grid spacing, no labels here on the grid, and apply. That's my grid. And if we want the grid to show above the floor, we need to move it down here. There's the grid on the floor. And as you can see, I didn't align the walls quite properly to the grid. If I wanted to have the grid nicely matching the floor and everything, I should obviously have put down the grid first. That way it would have been much easier for me to draw, probably aligning all the walls and rooms to the grid. And Joachim asks, will all the adding of walls, can you prevent the lines on the adding sheets for wall parts or floor parts? No, if you do them in separate pieces, you'll have the black outlines or the outlines on these. What you can do is either disable outlines for the walls all in all, or I find then it kind of loses the edges and it's hard to see what's what on the map. Or, and this is quite a bit more work, you can go in and edit stuff later. Well, there will be something for a bigger, beautiful project. See, I've got the options, the entities on the different layers. For example, the floor's outline layer. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide everything but the floor's outline layer. Hide all. Now you can see only got the outline showing, and now I can break these up and delete the parts I don't need. And for that I do need to make my icons a little bit smaller so I can actually see these commands down here, and reload Campaign Cartographer once. Always reload Campaign Cartographer if you change your menu interface. You can see, and you've got the break command down here. And for that, I'm gonna break this outline here, select it, and for the breakpoints, what I need to do first, I need to unlock groups, because Campaign Cartographer puts all these perspectives entities into groups, and you can edit them only if you unlock individually, if you unlock the groups. Going to do that first. The unlock button is down here on the bottom right. Not that often used, but very important if it is. And now I'm going to break this piece of floor, and I already hit the wrong one. There we go. That's just one entity. That was this section of floor, and now I'm going to use break on this one here. Use the same points, and there the line is gone. And if I now show all the floors again, you can see the breaking line is gone. And you can do the same for the wall sections and everything. I've done this on big perspectives projects. I want to look everything very neat and tidy at the end, but it does take a little bit more work than is possible in a live mapping session here. One little thing I wanted to show you in what I've also mentioned in the mapping guide, what I've done for this style, because the outlines on the perspectives walls can only be 0 width, but that doesn't quite match the bitmap symbols we're using. You can use something similar when selecting by the floor's outline layer to make these a little bit prettier. We're just gonna go change properties, and I could select by the walls and floors outline layer like I've done here before. What I can also do, I can select by color, because I've set all the outlines to be in their own unique color in here. They are all color 65, you can see. Also for this you will have need to have the groups unlocked. Let's do it. And now make these a little bit wider, say 0.1, the fill style to solid. Okay, and this way you have, didn't I? Thought I had, didn't I hit the solid option? Let's do that again. Prior, do it line style. No, not the line style, obviously. It needs to be the fill style. It needs to be solid. There we go. And this way the outlines are a bit wider and mesh better with the bitmap symbols. As you can see, this way they are much more similar to the outlines of the symbols, like the pole and the fireplace and everything. And that way you can build your nice little isometric maps. One more thing, if you want to have these in different colors, what you can do is you can go to the whole drawing, sheet effects, there's RGB matrix process attached, and in the example map I use this to make this sepia shaded map. And you can also do different other colors, different color settings with the RGB matrix effect. There are some pre-defined ones. And you can also experiment with the settings to find your own color settings. But it's effectively a monochrome style. Everything will be in the same general base color with different shadings. Okay, and with that, also just another thing you see, I drew with perspectives drawings, edges can quite often peek easily across the map border. If this happens, just do a stretch on the screen effect here, the white one, to extend this a little bit to the side, to cover your stuff. Oh, that's actually not the one I wanted. I wanted to... Oh, well, I can just change this to the white. Don't need the black outline anyway. Actually, I'm a bit confused why my undo doesn't work. Should be working, but it doesn't want to. So, well, let's do the stretch backwards. And redo this properly. Okay, now my black outline is still at that width. Not sure what I did here. Black polygon. Okay. Let's try this again. Or if you don't want to use the stretch, you can always use the edit individual points. See, this should be the white. I have to be careful because the black outline is very close to the white one here. And there we go. That's better. There's our edge of the map hidden. And we of course do have a compass rose to put into the map. And we want to put in a title for the map. So if you put in text and you make sure you're set on the correct text sheet for that, because I want to do white text with a dark outline. I switch to that text sheet first. And line the text. And there's our nice little cellar map. All right, and yeah, Sue asked for the name of the artist. That's Kavi Vaisisade. However you pronounce that name, I'm very sorry. I probably have butchered it. He actually speaks German. We were communicating in German, but I believe he lives in Canada. And I hope to see some more stuff from him. There's links to his website on the annual webpage. Do visit that. I will also put it into the video description later. So, and I hope you enjoyed our little excursion into perspectives isometric mapping today, and the look into the annual, and keep your eyes and ears open for the upcoming release or pre-order of the annual 2021. And as always, if you want to wait until the very end of the current year, well, before you buy it, there will be one more bonus issue coming out. And I think I don't spoil too much by saying that's more nice stuff from Sue. And then it will all get bundled up into one big installation, so you can download and install it all in one go. Thanks for joining us tonight, and I hope to see you again next week. Have a good day, night, or whatever it is you're in the place or where you are. Bye bye.